Hey, what's up guys? My name is Andrew. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Bill Gates' investment portfolio. And many people know him as the founder of Microsoft and his philanthropy through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is actually where most of his investments go into. Now you might think as the founder of Microsoft, he's obviously going to own some Microsoft stock. But the reality is his foundation investment portfolio doesn't have any Microsoft. And we'll see why that's the case, and we'll see what his investment portfolio looks like. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to see more content like this. With that being said, let's get right into the video. And I seriously need to get a haircut. Before we dive into the portfolio, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below where you can find the updated 13F files on the official SEC website. So as an overview, the trust fund holds about 22 companies, and the top 5 holdings make up about 75% of the portfolio. And the top 10 holdings make up about 94% of the portfolio. When we take a look at the sectors, the financial industry takes up about 40% of the portfolio, which is all under one asset, and that is Berkshire Hathaway. Right below that, we have industrial companies, which is about 20% of the portfolio, and that is made up of Waste Management and Caterpillar. So right off the bat, 3 companies encompass about 60% of the portfolio. He also owns about 8 companies under the communications sector, and that makes up about 2.6% of the portfolio. So for this video, I'm just going to be talking about his top 5 holdings because that makes up about 3/4 of his entire portfolio. And for the rest of the stocks, I'm just going to be briefly covering it so I don't make this video too long. So Bill Gates' biggest holding is Berkshire Hathaway Class B shares. He has about $7.1 billion under management, and that encompasses about 40% of his entire portfolio. Bill Gates has also been on the board of directors for Berkshire Hathaway for some time now, and he's also relatively good friends with Warren Buffett. But very recently, he actually stepped down to focus more on his philanthropic goals. When you look at the differences in the volume, Class B shares have way more activity since it's way more affordable, and this is very crucial when you're trying to buy or sell billions of dollars worth of assets. Overall, I wouldn't recommend investing into Berkshire Hathaway if you're trying to outperform the market, because it's actually been underperforming the market for the past 5 years. But other than that, the company itself is in good hands and it has a pretty healthy balance sheet. I also do own one Class B share just so I can get tickets to the shareholder meeting. Next up, we have Bill Gates' second biggest holding, which is Waste Management, with just about $2 billion of assets under management, and this encompasses about 11% of his entire portfolio. Waste Management is going to be a very good option because it's the biggest provider of waste management services, and there aren't many competitors. On top of that, utility stocks like WM are going to be very good for volatile markets since they don't fluctuate as much. When you look at the ratios, WM seems to outperform the stock market after risk adjustments, and it does have dividend payouts, and so if you're into that sort of investment strategy, then you might want to consider WM in your portfolio. Also, if you've enjoyed the video up to this point, make sure you do me a favor and drop a like on this video. It massively helps out my channel and it only takes 3 seconds. Let's continue with the rest of the video. Next up, we have the Canadian National Railway System, which encompasses about 8% of Bill Gates' entire portfolio, and that's about $1.5 billion worth of assets under management. CNI is a North American transportation and logistics company that has a large railway system between Canada and the US, transporting about $250 billion worth of goods annually. Based on the statistics, CNI has actually underperformed the stock market for the past 5 years and has been taking on a little bit more volatility than usual. And this can be seen through the volatility metrics. It has high values compared to the S&P 500, and its maximum drawdown value is much higher than the S&P 500. Overall, CNI is a very solid investment if you're trying to diversify or if you want consistency. There are other railway companies that actually outperform the market, like Norfolk Southern, but it comes with a much higher volatility. Next up, we have Caterpillar, which is an industrial company that is the leading global provider of machinery and equipment. Bill Gates owns about $1.4 billion of Caterpillar stock, which is approximately 8% of the entire portfolio. When we take a look at the graph, Caterpillar's movements are very sporadic and volatile. This is also shown in the price standard deviation, which measures the variation in the price movement. And typically when there's more variation in the price movement, there's going to be more risk involved. Another indication of volatility is drawdown, as you can see in this graph comparing Caterpillar and the S&P 500. The blue line indicates Caterpillar's downward movements, and the red line indicates the S&P 500's downward movements. So for my final thoughts about Caterpillar, I personally wouldn't recommend it because it's way too volatile. Lastly, a final detailed discussion is going to be Walmart, and this is run by the Waltons, literally the richest family in the US. It's a multinational retail corporation that owns many subsidiaries, one of which we know and love, and that is Sam's Club. Walmart is Bill Gates' fifth biggest investment at about $1.4 billion worth of assets under management, and this is approximately 7.8% of his entire portfolio. Looking at the monthly and the annual volatility metrics, it seems like Walmart is going to be more volatile than the S&P 500. The Sharpe and Sortino ratios also indicate that the volatility doesn't justify its returns. Again, at the moment, I still wouldn't recommend investing into Walmart because it seems to be way more volatile than the S&P 500 and it seems to underperform the market. As for his other investments, he owns about $900 million of Crown Castle International, which is a communications infrastructure company with over 40,000 cell towers. It's also a real estate investment trust, also known as a REIT, so they are required to pay out 90% of the net profits to their shareholders, making them one of the best investments for dividends. Other investments include Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Twitter, Coca-Cola, and plenty of other companies. I'm also going to link this spreadsheet down in the description below. I did take some time to create this, and so if you want the full and clean overview of Bill Gates' portfolio, just make a copy of it and then you can just literally do whatever you want with it. Overall, I think Bill Gates has a pretty solid portfolio and it's relatively diversified. He's also been able to outperform the market for the past few years. Although he does take a few $1 billion out of his investment portfolio for his philanthropic causes, ultimately his returns on his portfolio are actually higher than the percentage that he takes out to donate to charity. So literally he still makes money from his investment trust. This creates a unique circumstance where it allows him to continuously generate an unlimited amount of money and wealth, so he can just donate some of that money away. And that sums up everything. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like for the YouTube algorithm. It massively helps out my channel. Subscribe and turn on notification bell to keep up to date with all of my videos. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and TikTok to see more content like this. And if you want 2 free stocks on Webull, link down in the description below. Sign up, create an account, and deposit $100 and get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600, not $400, $600. And I'll see you guys in the next video.